literally a bloodbath. These are the victims of multiple strikes by Israeli forces against al-Buraj refugee camp in the north of the Gaza Strip. Missiles hit 2 homes and a mosque. The human cost is clear for all to see. The dead and the wounded, all of them civilians. A short while later, and a television crew covering the military operations find themselves the target of an Israeli tank shell. A young Reuters cameraman, Fadil Shanat, is dead. He was travelling in a distinctive vehicle, clearly marked with the words press and TV. It's hard to believe that the Israeli military did not see these signs. 2 of his colleagues were injured, not to mention the passers-by who were killed as they walked along the road. Fadil was 23 years old. Only the other week he spoke to Al Jazeera about his work as a television cameraman.
I can't give up journalism. I will continue to work this way. Only 2 things can stop me: if I die or lose my legs.
A bloody day that began with an Israeli incursion into the Gaza Strip. Soldiers moved in from the east near a fuel delivery terminal that was attacked by Palestinian fighters a week ago. The troops were backed up by helicopters and tanks, but it appears they walked straight into an ambush. By the time the operation was over, 3 Israeli soldiers were dead and 3 more injured. The Palestinians lost 4 fighters. Israeli tanks withdraw from Gaza, but the Palestinians have no illusion that the attacks are over. Jackie Rowland, Al Jazeera, Jerusalem.
When this magnificent machine is on the ground, one sees its power, beauty, complexity. But it was not created to sit on the ground. At BEDEC, we work tirelessly to keep you soaring as high as possible, economically and safely. BEDEC, a new life for your aircraft. BEDEC has a well-known reputation offering the highest service level and providing comprehensive solutions tailored to your needs. BEDEC provides you with unique MRO solutions, bringing new life to your airframes, engines, and components. Our 60 years legacy of experience, creativity, and devotion makes bedek the best in its field. Countless aircraft, engines, and components of all types and models have received our professional touch and have allowed our customers' fleets around the globe to deliver demanding around-the-clock service.
The combination of innovative engineering, quality human capital, advanced infrastructure, and customer-oriented service enable us to meet any engineering and operational challenges.
Converting passenger aircraft into freighters, reaching into the core of the most advanced aircraft, and completely changing their capabilities. bedek is the exclusive world leader in this field. We meet the most demanding customer requests, being well aware of their significance. Being an international organization, we recognize the need for sensitivity and respect and are able to work with unique cultures and expectations.
Our work reflects the values of IAI, where innovation in mega projects, a proven history of success and focus on quality and customer service are fundamental principles. We only know one way to serve you, by providing the highest quality, safety, and cost-effective service to ensure that you and your aircraft will continue flying high.
bedek, a new life for your aircraft.
Commodore Aviation Unit, according to the Seattle Post-Intelligencer article from 1998. Florida Governor Jeb Bush made a 4-day trade mission visit to Israel in November 1999, during which he appealed to the state-owned Israel Aircraft Industries to expand their business operations in Florida. IAI's Miami-based Commodore Aviation was already the largest Israeli business presence in Florida in 1999, with about 500 employees, the Stuart News reported. In 2003, Commodore Aviation, part of IAI's bedek Aviation Group, pulled out of Miami, reportedly owing nearly $1 million to the Miami airport, and moved to Rome, New York, where it renamed its operations the Empire Air Center. Commodore has been searching for a new location since June 2002 and owes $800,000 in back rent to Miami International Airport, where it's currently based, South Florida CEO reported in May 2003, when it announced Commodore Aviation's move to New York and its name change. Like Atasco, Commodore has been generously funded by the U.S. taxpayer. Commodore Aviation actually made money by its move to the former Griffiths Air Force Base, where it operates in a massive hangar in which B-52 bombers and tankers were once serviced. The move profited Commodore, which received some $25 million in grants and tax incentives from federal and New York government sources, the Jerusalem Post reported on November 21, 2003. The whole relocation didn't cost IAI $1, said Jerry Stoke, New York State Economic Attaché in Israel.
Today, more than ever, strategic supremacy depends on precision, complex intelligence. The idea is not to react, but to take the initiative and create superior means to gain the advantage. Elbit Systems has the solution that empowers you to do just that, with ingeniously devised special mission aircraft. With Elbit Systems Special Mission Aircraft, your mission is possible. Elbit Systems special mission aircraft are equipped to handle the challenges of today's dense communications networks by precision scanning, locating, analyzing, and monitoring all communication transmissions within a tactical arena. With add-on innovations, ordinary aircraft are redesigned and re-equipped with leading-edge technological advances. Taking any conventional aircraft, Elbit transforms it into a titan by design, development, fabrication, and installation of an outstanding array of lightweight, compact elements, including mission management system, high resolutions and ultra-long-range multispectral electro-optical infrared, high-accuracy ELINT with analysis capabilities, long-range maritime surveillance radar, high-speed and extremely accurate comment, high-sensitivity self-defense systems, wideband SATCOM and data link with precision-guided munitions for rapid closing up the loop on acquired targets. Working with international governments and defense contractors, Elbit Systems can refine any platform to meet the unique requirements of special missions. Coordinating with technology partners to modify aircraft and integrate state-of-the-art mission equipment specific for each customer. A single Elbit Systems mission aircraft does the work of several platforms. It tracks, intercepts, measures, analyzes, classifies, locates, and monitors ground, airborne, and naval information, providing sensor-to-shooter solution in one platform, and shares that information with decision makers. Elbit Systems Special Mission Aircraft, an affordable end-to-end operation approach to make your mission possible.
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy, you. Oh. Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try.
There are approximately 10,000 commercial planes in the skies at any given moment, and most aircraft's operations rely on software. The commercial aviation industry, airlines, airports, and airplanes is becoming more and more dependent on modern information and communication systems. As such, they are becoming more and more vulnerable to potential cyber compromise. The emerging and ever-growing cyber threats aimed against the commercial aviation industry create evolving challenges where the cyber defenders are hard-pressed to detect advanced, subtle, and low-signal threats which may lead to a catastrophic loss. The Israeli government has endorsed the proposal of a cybersecurity solution for the commercial aviation industry designed by a group of world-leading Israeli cyber companies. The companies joined forces and established IACCC, the Israeli Aviation Cyber Companies Consortium, offering a holistic solution countering modern cyber threats against the commercial aviation industry, including dedicated cyber threat intelligence capabilities, Aviation-Specific Cybersecurity Operations Center, cybersecurity for proprietary and dedicated airborne systems, onboard autonomous cyber monitoring, communication protection, and advanced cyber and digital forensic capabilities.
ICEC is a unique venture where leading Israeli companies join forces in order to bring the global aviation industry the best cyber solutions Israel's cyber ecosystem has to offer.
The Israeli National Cyber Directorate has identified cybersecurity for commercial aviation as an extremely important domain and is encouraging the Israeli cyber industry to invest in related activities, innovation and collaboration. The Israeli Aviation Cyber Companies Consortium brings together innovative and experienced Israeli companies in order to improve aviation cybersecurity.
CyberArk is the global leader in privileged access security, allowing protecting data, infrastructure and assets across organizations and in the cloud.
Every company is a technology company with something of value to the attacker. The aviation industry is no different. Organizations must adopt a think like an attacker mindset, starting with solutions to proactively protect against privileged account compromise. We applaud the Israeli Cyber Aviation Consortium and its efforts to encourage adoption of offensive strategies and cyber intelligence measures to enhance security effectiveness.
Cockpit Innovation is an al-Askari Israeli Airlines venture fund committed to identify and invest in disruptive technologies in digital travel, aviation, and aerospace.
You are witnessing an effective arms race between malicious hackers and defenders. We're hard-pressed to constantly counter new and evolving attack vectors. El Al is committed to our passengers' cyber safety. Innovation is the key providing the global commercial aviation industry with a constantly evolving and adaptable cybersecurity solution, ensuring airborne cyber worthiness.
The Israeli Aviation Cyber Companies Consortium is bringing together best-of-breed cyber solutions and real-life aviation industry experience. The consortium is committed to constantly seek out and identify innovative means and technologies which will help ensure that our air travel remains cyber safe.
Checkpoint is developing cutting-edge technologies for the protection of all cyber infrastructures with more than 10 million sensors around the world. Clear Sky is a cybersecurity consulting and intelligence company providing strategic threat intelligence, cyber defense methodology, solutions, and services.
The ICEC mission is creating the best integrated cyber solution for the commercial aviation industry. We used our vast cyber defense experience, accumulated over a decade, defending Israel mission-critical systems, coupled with our partners' intimate hands-on avionics know-how.
Karamba Security specializes in the security of mission-critical electronic control units, ECUs, ensuring 100% detection and prevention. No false positives or sophisticated cyber attacks against ECUs.
Within the aviation industry, misdetection of cyber attacks can actually result in catastrophic loss of life. The Israeli Aviation Cyber Companies Consortium's approach provides a holistic cyber solution based on the best-of-breed products and solutions while taking into account the unique challenges presented by airborne systems.
IACCC, the Israeli Aviation Cyber Companies Consortium, is led by Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI, a government-owned defense industry with more than 60 years of experience in producing solutions for defense, multi-layered intelligence, and early warning. IAI has vast experience in building business jets, certifying airborne systems, as well as maintenance, repair, and overhaul of modern passenger aircraft.
Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI, is proud to lead the Israeli Aviation Cyber Companies Consortium. The consortium will harness avionics know-how coupled with the best cyber technology and innovation Israel has to offer in order to allow safe and cyber-resilient air travel for all of us.
Building blocks, avionics and cyber, methodologies, and proven operational experience. IACCC, the Israeli Aviation Cyber Companies Consortium, an end-to-end solution for countering modern cyber threats against the commercial aviation industry.
Chapter 12, Talpiots in Space. After Marina Gandlin graduated from the academic portion of Talpiot, she gravitated to research and development in Israel's aerospace industry. When missile attacks from Gaza once again began to escalate in December 2008, she was tasked to improve Israel's early warning alarm system so that people in Israeli communities close to the border with Gaza could have a decent chance of finding cover before impact. It was critical to design ways to make the alert system work faster. If there is only a 30-second warning and it takes a full 4 or 5 seconds to detect a launch and determine the missile's direction, saving 2 or 3 seconds could save someone's life. Marina explains, "My branch had responsibility for watching the skies of Israel, planes, air traffic control, and everything else that goes through the sky. Since we have the radar for planes, we also have radar for missiles. I handled a lot of the launches and the hit points, which is very important because it lets you know which civilian population you need to alarm before the rocket hits. We were trying to help the army figure out where projectiles are going. I needed to determine where the missiles were going to hit and then quickly relay the coordinates. It was my responsibility to decide how many areas and how many sectors to alert after a launch. After a series of launches, Marina would take the data from missile launches and where they landed and enter it into a special computer program designed to help the army learn from past attacks. This could help determine likely strike areas in the future. After a new ceasefire went into effect January 18, 2009, Marina began planning her next step, working in Israel's satellite industry. In 1988, Israel launched its first satellite, the Ofek, Hebrew for Horizon. That successful launch turned Israel into the 8th nation to have a native satellite launch capability. Since then, 9 Ofeks have been launched into outer space from Israel. It's believed the Ofek satellites make about 6 passes over Earth each day. Israel also uses the Amos series of satellites launched from the territory of other nations, often former republics of the Soviet Union. The Amos satellites are usually for communications purposes. The Ofek is not. Its purpose is to take high-resolution image photography of any place on Earth. The Israeli army and other intelligence agencies are usually the beneficiaries of what the Ofek satellites send back from outer space. Granlin's job in the Ofek program is to squeeze out every piece of data the satellites pick up. She develops algorithms to take advantage of the treasure trove of data and images that comes home. Marina laughs Don't think I'm looking at license plates or faces. In the satellite industry, people are laughing at this concept of being able to see faces and license plates. There's this movie with Will Smith, Enemy of the State. You have real-time images. They follow him with the satellite. You can see if he's sitting, standing or smiling. You really can't get that from satellites. While Israel's satellite program does not live up to Hollywood fantasies, Marina says she's coming up with programs that help the army and intelligence agencies find whatever they're looking for whenever they're looking for it. While Granlin's ambition was to be part of the aerospace industry, Kobi Kamenetz had no clue where his true interest was until a routine class trip turned his life around. Quiet and thoughtful, Kobi's Talpiot commanders had high hopes for him the minute he was inducted into Talpiot's 16th class. They believed he could make a difference in Israel's future on a grand scale. Kamenetz had other plans. He wanted to go into the army to become a fighter, a commander of troops in the field. He was all set to tell his Talpiot superiors, who had invested so much in his education, that he wanted to enroll in a field commander's course. It's not clear how they would have reacted, and it doesn't matter. He never had that conversation. One day, his Talpiot class was on a field trip to see parts of the Israeli space program in the works. When they went into a hangar and he saw the satellite Ofek 4, that was really magic for me, he recalls. I vividly remembered watching the launch of Ofek 3 on television. Then I was able to see another Israeli rocket launch in person. I knew then that this is what I wanted to do. It was fascinating. You see it on the ground 1 minute, then a few minutes later, it's 400 kilometers in space. I knew I wanted to be part of that. After his third year Talpiot coursework, he spent the next 6 years working on the camera for Ofek 5. At the age of only 21, he was working on a $100 million project crucial to his country's defense. When asked how he was able to get this top priority post, Kobi was extremely modest, saying, "Someone somewhere thought I was a good multitasker and was easy to work with." Of course, both of these qualities are extremely valuable, but Kobi had a lot more than that. Extreme motivation to help his country, a desire to work hard, and a world-class education in military technology. On May 28, 2002, the Associated Press in Jerusalem reported, the Ofek 5 reconnaissance satellite was successfully launched and will soon begin providing Israel with high-resolution images of the Middle East. Defense Minister Benjamin Ben-Eliezer said that the satellite and its launcher rocket, developed entirely in Israel, were a tremendous achievement for the Israeli defense establishment. The Ofek 5 satellite, developed by Israel Aircraft Industries, IAI, rocketed into space on board a sheeeeit launcher at 6:25 p.m. from the Palmachim Air Force Base. The sheeeit's engines shot out a huge white vapor trail as the rocket sped westward over the Mediterranean. Minutes later, the rocket and satellite disappeared over the horizon. Looking back, Kobi says, "I remember the clock ticking down, from 9 hours down to minutes, down to seconds. I was testing the camera to make sure that everything was okay in the monitor I was looking at. There are also a lot of different configurations you can work with. Exposure time, the shutter. It is just like your camera. The camera on the Ofek is a very complex equivalent. I could tell it to take pictures of this point on Earth, that point on Earth. You switch and test to make sure you can see the inputs, of which there are several dozen, given your different views. To play a part in this was really a great experience. When the first image from the satellite came in, there was nothing I could compare that to." He then worked with demanding Israeli intelligence agencies after the launch to provide them with whatever they wanted. After a short time, Kamenetz was able to provide them with images without being asked, as he was able to figure out what they needed. Intelligence officers would often bring him pictures of other targets, asking him to check for updates on everything from weaponry to troop movement to the placement of tanks and missile launchers throughout the Middle East. The intelligence teams also had instructions when it came to optimizing the pictures of what they wanted to see, and they were very specific in requesting size and shading so they could be 100% sure of what was happening on the ground. After working on the Ofek 5 camera, Kobi wound up leaving the army, saying it would be difficult for him to find something as inspiring to work on. Not long thereafter, he wound up using the skills he had acquired to work on very similar technology in the private sector to help patients in danger of losing their eyesight. Israel's space program and electro-optics are the expertise of tHE of Talpiot's 17th class 1995. dAJjal is currently a research fellow at Tel Aviv University's Yuval Ne'eman workshop for Science, Technology and Security, which was founded by General Yitzhak Ben Israel, the outstanding individual whom we met in Chapter 7. The department focuses on a wide range of security issues through the prism of science. On the list is cybersecurity, Israeli space policy, guided weapons, ballistic missile technology, nuclear energy, and robotics, to name a few. When it comes to space, the program focuses on using satellites for improving intelligence gathering. While motives and intentions of a foreign leader can be debated, satellite imagery gives a clear picture of what's happening on the ground. Through his work at Naaman, dAJjal has been called upon to analyze the progress being made in space by nations in Israel's neighborhood, including Egypt, a country many people, even those in security circles, didn't know had a space program. dAJjal isn't impressed. Egypt says its satellite program is for scientific use, but many experts believe a country like Egypt, a nation with a questionable economy and a powerful military, wouldn't spend so much money purely for civilian purposes. dAJjal believes that, as in most countries, their program is for dual use, military and civilian. In 2007, dAJjal helped monitor the launch of EgyptSat-1. Egypt was able to reach space with the generous support of scientists and space experts in the Ukraine. But by 2010, communications were lost with EgyptSat-1, and dozens of Egyptians who had worked on the program were fired. dAJjal says the Egyptian government hid the bad news for months. Among his other responsibilities, dAJjal often represents Israel at international and United Nations-sponsored space conferences. In the spring of 2011, he was in Geneva. He gave a presentation proposing international rules for the management and governance of space, rules that every nation would need to abide by to prevent one nation from interfering with another beyond Earth's atmosphere. One example where space rules are needed relates to jamming signals. Many countries have the ability to stop signals from coming into their countries. dAJjal notes that Iran is actually a world leader in jamming technology and there's no way to prevent it. dAJjal says you can retaliate by jamming their signals, but in the end, nobody in that scenario really wins. All the money that went into satellite launches and the sending back of signals is lost. Beyond jamming, it is also possible to blind satellites with certain kinds of lasers, another area where international rules are badly needed. A remarkable thing happened when dAJjal presented his proposal in Geneva. Almost always, Iran's representatives and the representatives of many Arab nations boycott speeches given by Israeli experts at international conferences, including conferences run by the United Nations. But to dAJjal's recollection, when he spoke, it was the first time that the representatives of Iran did not leave.
by continuing to work together as partners in a global space exploration enterprise. Through their dedication and sacrifice, we are now in a new era of exploration in which humans will reach new destinations such as an asteroid in Mars, and we're transforming the way we reach low Earth orbit. NASA has a long history of international cooperation. I can tell you from firsthand experience that when viewed from orbit, our borderless Earth inspires a sense of humility, unity of humanity, and wonder. Once a photograph of the Earth taken from outside is available, a new idea as powerful as any in history will be let loose. What was once a global competition has long since become a global collaboration.
Very surprisingly, the state of Israel are one of the only ones in the world that can launch, operate, and develop satellites. In space, you must cooperate. You cannot do things by yourself, and it's very, very important to us to be in the front line.
Well, the cooperation between Israel and Italy in space has started just a few years ago. So the project is called the Shalom. It will allow to have a mixed configuration between Israel and Italian industries in the field.
France and Israel cooperate in space since 1994. In 2005, we decided to start together a complete mission, complete satellite, dedicated to the study of environment and vegetation. This mission, called Venus, will be launched next year in August. This mission is a first-class mission in the world. We shall have more than 100 sites which we shall observe around the whole world, working with all scientists in the world. For the first time, this satellite will deliver data with a revisit. That the satellite will come at the same place, at the same hour, with the same light, every 2 days. So it's a very strong, very tight, very close cooperation, and very fruitful and growing cooperation.
Smallest satellite in the world, and with this resolution by far the smallest satellite, so it's very lightweight, very agile. The entire satellite is developed and manufactured here in Israel with Israeli technology that is unique in the ability to give very high resolution with very small elements and components. Venus is a research satellite for scientific purposes for the French Space Agency and Israeli space agencies in a joint program. It will provide superspectral images of Earth, superspectral in 12 different color bands, so that scientists can monitor vegetation and environmental issues in pre-planned sites around the world. We have a very advanced space industry. We've launched 13 satellites successfully into space. They all work with 100% efficiency, well beyond their expected lifetime. We specialize in small, very highly capable satellites that take high-resolution Earth observation pictures. We're talking about resolutions better than 70 centimeters for the electro-optic satellites, and about a meter for the radar satellites that we have launched. Designing a satellite means mastering a lot of different technological areas because the conditions in space are very difficult. We put a tremendous effort in keeping the weight down. Does anybody ride a bicycle here? I bet you wish your bicycle was made out of this. Who's got strength? Okay, let's hear with this.
I can do it.
This is the composite for the arms of the antenna. We have a fleet of communication satellites in size from 1.5 tons to 4.5 tons. And we're building another one now that's 5.5 tons in size. The AMOS fleet of satellites. and those give communications to areas from Australia until the United States and connect them with the country of Israel and between each other.
You start much more activities than we do, so innovation, but also this wish to experiment yourself in the business is something that we should learn again, because this was in the past, it was the same also in Italy, but we have lost a little bit of this enthusiasm to go in business.
Well, the greatest, I think, contribution to the Israeli aerospace community and industry overall is the unbelievable capacity for entrepreneurial spirit, how to apply technologies to a multitude of different applications to meet current challenges, and how to grow that technology to then be adaptable and agile enough in order to meet those goals. And that entrepreneurial spirit is absolutely incalculable in terms of its value moving forward for space exploration ventures.
We, as you can understand from the name, we are the electro-optic system, so we are manufacturing, design and manufacturing all the electro-optical parts. In other words, all the cameras for all the Israeli, but not only the Israeli satellites. We spend a huge effort to do our system very, very light and very, very compact. And from the other hand, we have very high performances.
Among our products, you can find propulsion systems and components that can assist the launching of the satellite into the orbit, and of course, the station keeping, the maintenance of the satellite in the orbit. We are part of ExoMars, which is the lander on Mars, going to be launched in 2016 by ESA, and we are providing the propellant tanks for the lander capsule.
Our mission is to build and send the first Israeli mooncraft and land it on the moon. What we're seeing here is a one-to-one model of the mooncraft. It weighs about 220 pounds. It's going to be sent using another rocket to orbit and then to the moon. The mission is to land a soft landing on the moon, complete a mission of photographing and sending video to Earth.
Nanosatellite is satellites weighing less than 10 kilograms. Currently there are 250 nanosatellite projects all over the world, from pure science activities and academic to industrial use. What we're trying to do is to promote civilian commercial space industry here in Israel.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for inviting me to join you in this celebration of life and legacy of Ilan Ramon, a great explorer and humanitarian, and to the path of exploration and discovery ahead that we'll all travel together into the cosmos. It's really hard for me to believe that a decade has passed since the Columbia tragedy. And as I told some students yesterday, I said I could see in them, in each and every one of them, Ilan Ramon. Now, I could see him in their faces and in their innocence and exuberance and excitement about what they know they're going to have an opportunity to do, and they spoke of hope.
אז 10 שנים אחרי אני גאה, כי אנחנו הצלחנו ביחד עם חברים, ביחד עם שותפים לדרך, להגיע למעגלי השפעה של השראה, של חינוך ומורשת. 10 שנים אחרי אנחנו נוגעים בזירה הבינלאומית, שאנחנו שולחים את יקירינו הצעירים, בעלי המלגות, הזוכים בתחרויות בכל הגילאים, לייצג אותנו, את ישראל, מול העולם כולו.
The sacrifice that Ilan Ramon made along with his colleagues on the Columbia flight demonstrates the risk, but also the tremendous returns that we can see and that we can expect. And what we can aspire to, I think, as humans, to achieve those kinds of goals, knowing full well that in order to really understand something better, there is a potential of failure. And that's what his example reminds us of. His courage reminds us of why you ought to continue to persist.
Snapping, hands got the clapping, the fingers got the snapping, hands got the clapping, the fingers got the snapping.